Here's 15 digital marketing terms that you should know as a business owner. See, I grew up in a small business family, so I know what it's like to have 1,000 questions. We're going to start off with organic traffic. Organic traffic is traffic or individuals that come to your site without you having to market to them. So think about someone who just finds your website on Google and you haven't put any advertising in. That's organic traffic because you're not paying for them. But the moment you start paying for the traffic, aka the people that are coming onto your site, you start going into inorganic traffic. I always recommend going and trying to get your organic traffic to grow as much as you can before you spend even a single dollar on growing your inorganic traffic. Right? And easy ways to do this is you sign up for an analytics software like, for example, Google Analytics, Facebook Analytics, whatever it is, in order to understand, well, who are the people that are already visiting my site, or where are they coming from where I'm not actually paying for them? What are the things I can do? For example, you might notice that you have a large amount of people that are coming over from Instagram just because of your regular Instagram page. So maybe you can grow that Instagram page to see if you can get a couple more people to trickle through without you spending a single dollar. Next, we'll talk about audience, which is essentially the groups or the demographics of people that you want to target your marketing towards. My advice is to first start off with simple questions. What's their age, gender, where are they located, how much do they earn in the year, right? Start with these general questions. Eventually, you want to create a really deep understanding of exactly who your target audience is. One thing to keep in mind is the difference between a customer versus a consumer. A customer will pay for what you sell. A consumer is the one that uses what you sell. If you're a toy company, your customer is the parent, but the consumer is the kid. So be careful about who you're marketing to and think about what they actually care about. The parent probably cares a lot more about quality and price. Meanwhile, the kid probably cares about the character's backstory or how much fun they're going to have. So keep that in mind when you're marketing. A/B split testing is when you try different variations of the same feature to be able to figure out which variation leads to better results. For example, you might set up 2 different product pages on your website, the same exact product, and send half the traffic to one, half the traffic to the other. The only difference between the 2 pages might be that one of them, the button that says buy now says buy now, versus the other one just says buy. And it's this idea of understanding, well, if I don't change anything else, which leads to a higher number of purchases, buy now or just buy? You'll be surprised, like even a small color change can make a huge difference in conversions across an entire global audience. Impressions is the amount of time that your ad or your marketing is shown to people. But one thing to keep in mind, and I feel like a lot of people fall into this trap, just because you have a high number of impressions doesn't mean people actually saw it. All it means is as they were scrolling or going through their phone or they were online, your ad popped up. It doesn't necessarily mean that they registered that your ad was there or even saw it. So it's good to have a high number of impressions, but keep in mind that there are a bunch of other metrics that you want to pay attention to really be able to measure the success of your advertising. KPI stands for Key Performance Indicator, and it's the key metric that pretty much you actually really care about. It's the one that's going to allow you to understand exactly how successful all your different campaigns or your different ads or your different marketing efforts are going. For example, if you're a cafe and you have like 100,000 followers on TikTok or Instagram, you might be tricked into thinking like, oh my God, we have so many followers, we're so successful. But maybe your key indicator shouldn't be the number of followers you have, rather how many people come into the cafe and say that they did because of Instagram and TikTok. Your key performance indicator should quantify the goal that you have for your marketing. Like what's the actual thing that's going to let you know, okay, whether or not your marketing is successful or not. Your conversion is the end goal or end action that you want someone to take because of your marketing. It's essentially why you're doing the marketing. So for example, if you're trying to grow your email list, your conversion action is going to be when someone finally signs up for an email. Or if you're trying to get more sales, your conversion action is, well, when that person who sees my ad clicks into it and then makes a purchase, the purchase is that conversion action that you're after. Your cost per acquisition is essentially you saying, how much did it cost me in order to get someone to take this action or make this purchase that I want them to make? Say you spend $100 a day doing Facebook ads, right? And by the end of it, you get 10 purchases. So the cost of getting each one of those purchases was about $10. The ideal number depends on your business. If you're a pizzeria that sells a $2.75 slice, you probably don't want it to cost you $10 to get one customer. But if you're someone who's, say, an accountant and you're charging $100 an hour, then maybe $10, $50, hell, even to get the first client, maybe even $200 to get that first client in might be worth it for you. Earlier, we talked about impressions and how they can be misleading because impressions can be super high. That just means, hey, we showed your ad to someone. It doesn't necessarily mean the person actually saw it. It just means that as they were scrolling, it was there on their screen. So one thing you could look at is also what was my cost per click? It's just a common cost structure for advertising systems like Google Ads, where they're essentially just saying, hey, we're not going to charge you for how many times you show your ad. We're not going to charge you for that. We're only going to charge you when someone actually clicks on your ad. So you could have thousands of impressions, but say only 2 people end up clicking on your ad in a day, you're only going to get charged for those 2 clicks. Not all advertising systems use cost per click, so be careful about what you're signing up for. Your call to action is that literal immediate action that you want someone to take once they've seen your advertising. Like for example, you'll hear buy now, or click here, or sign up now. Speaking of which, if you liked our content so far, please make sure to like, follow, subscribe, depending on where you're seeing this video, as we're taking you on our journey to learn everything we possibly can about becoming better business leaders. Your landing page is the website page that individuals are taken to once they click on your ad. One thing to keep in mind with your landing page is that you could be tracking all the clicks you get on your ads, but sometimes you might see a big difference between the number of clicks you get and the number of people that actually reach your landing page. If you see that like 100 people are clicking on your ads, but only like 50 actually get to your landing page, that probably means that your website's taking too long to load, or there's some sort of disconnect that you need to figure out. Keywords are the words or phrases that you want to target with your advertising or are related to what you're doing. And depending on the advertising system you're using, for example, if you're using Google Ads, they're very heavy focused on keywords. What you're doing is you're essentially saying, when someone types in this exact word, I want to compete to have my ad show up in front of them. Say you're a pizzeria in Brooklyn, New York. You probably want some of your keywords to include Brooklyn, New York, pizzeria, pizza. Click-through rate, aka CTR, is honestly one of my favorite metrics to ever look at for any digital marketing effort that you're probably doing. It pretty much measures how many people who've seen your ad actually click onto the ad to go to the next level. Personally, the way I look at digital marketing is one of the most basic goals of any marketing is to get someone to click to go to the next level. So why not constantly keep an eye on seeing what actions or what sort of designs or what ads are actually leading to people clicking and going to the next level? So oftentimes I'll ignore a lot of other metrics and just solely focus on this when I really want to optimize any of the marketing that I'm doing. An easy system that I'd recommend for doing this is set a base amount. For example, you might say, hey, I want at least 15% of people who've seen the ad to click and go to the next level. And then you can go through like all your different ads, your designs, your keywords, and see, well, what's meeting that 15% click-through rate threshold? What's not? Get rid of it. What is? Double down on it. Retargeting or remarketing is when you market to individuals who've already interacted with your brand in some way. Well, say someone comes onto your website, they see a bunch of cool things, and then they leave. Remarketing is when you would target them specifically because there was someone that came onto your site. Now, there are some people who do insanely cool things with this. Like for example, if I've been to their site, they'll give me an ad like, hey, saw that you interacted with our brand and we think you might have some doubts about what to do next. Well, here's a video, a bunch of customer testimonials to prove that we are credible for you to start buying our product. A conversion path is essentially the series of steps that you want an individual to take after they've seen your ad, all the way down to the end goal that you have for them. By mapping out your conversion path, say, I want them to click on the ad, I want them to get to the website, I want them to put their email on my website, then I want them to go look at a product, and then I want them to buy that product. By mapping each step out, you're able to see how many people actually make it from one step to the next. And then you could find weak links within your conversion path. Say they get onto the site, sign up on the email, but then as they're looking at products, they don't ever make a purchase. Well, maybe there's something wrong with your product pages. SEO, aka search engine optimization, I feel like can get very complicated very quickly, but simply put, it's just the process of putting high quality content onto your site that's full of keywords that allow search engines like Google, Bing, or Yahoo to really understand what your site is about. At the end of the day, one of the most important things to a search engine is trust. This idea that when I go on Yahoo or when I go on Google and I search something, I am trusting that Yahoo and Google are gonna help me find what I want. If they help me this time, then I'll continuously come back to them. And when you fill your website up with high quality content filled with a bunch of keywords around your industry, and it's not just you throwing out random words, it's about you actually creating valuable content, these search engines realize that. Now they're able to better understand, okay, this website does this exact thing, so when someone searches for this thing, I will connect the two of them because I trust this site to have quality content for my user. If you're ever confused about where to get started for search engine optimization, there's tons of videos online, but my basic advice, what are the questions that most customers have asked you in the past? What are questions that you had about your industry or your company when you first started? And just create content around that to start off. Just actually describe what your brand is about, what your company is about, what your product is about. Put in as many details as you possibly can. Okay, so that was 15 digital marketing terms that every business owner should know. Please let me know in the comments what you guys thought about this video. It's one of my first few videos on this page, so I'm a little bit nervous about it, and I'd love to sort of know, is this actually something that's valuable? If it is, great, I'll do some more. If it's not, then let me know. What are the questions? What are the topics that you want me to cover in the comments? I want this to be a channel that provides value, not just creating content for the sake of content. As always, please remember to subscribe. I'll